Hey guys, it's Jenny here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have my May and June wrap up and my July TBR. So I would like to say that more of these books are books that I read in May and June, but sadly most of these are books that I need to read in July or just really want to get to. So, I was going to make this two separate videos, but then when I looked at it and realized just how few books I read in May and June, I decided not to do that and just to combine them because it's going to be easier for me when I'm editing and uploading. So honestly, the plus side to this is that I have a really, really great selection for July. I have like a couple short books. I have some short books. I have a lot of romance and contemporary. And then I just have the books for my Massathon. So honestly, I know I have said this every freaking month since my last big wrap up, but I kind of think that July might be the month. The only obstacle is obviously going to be the 3 Massathon books. But I'm hoping, I have hope, I think. If anything, I think the easiest is going to be the books that I don't have to read. Just because I have some really good selections. And I'm sorry, I can't stop staring at them because they all look so good together. They're so like colorful and the spines look so well. Anywho, we're gonna stop procrastinating because that's exactly what I'm doing because I'm gonna say I'm disappointed because the reason that I combined my May and June wrap up was because I thought that I would have more books read, and I don't. I thought I was going to have Air Fire finished, but this weekend just didn't go how I planned. Things have been not the greatest for me lately. So reading has become a definite struggle. I'm under a lot of stress, like, all the time. And, like, when I'm under that amount of stress, the last thing on my mind is to, like, pick up a book and read. Because, like, then I just lose track of time. But anyways, we're going to get into the books that I did read in May and June. Unfortunately, it's not many. I will admit to that right now. But they were high ratings, so there's that at least. So let's continue on with the haul. Not the haul. The video. So the first book I ended up reading in May was 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott with Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Laconius. So this centers on 2 kids, Stella and Will. Both of them are in the hospital for cystic fibrosis. Stella has had this disease for a majority of her life, and Will was just recently diagnosed with Bisapacia, which is a fatal bacteria to children that have CF, which is cystic fibrosis. So normally kids with cystic fibrosis cannot interact with each other. They always have to be 6 feet apart at all times. But Will especially is a dangerous case for Stella because he carries this bacteria that could be fatal to her. Anyways, these 2 meet in the hospital. They immediately don't get along. But once she starts helping him and they start taking treatments together, they form this bond. And man, oh my gosh. So Stella decides to take a foot back. So 5 feet apart. And I have to say it, this book broke my heart. I haven't had a book like a romance contemporary that hurt me this bad since The Fault in Our Stars. I would definitely compare it to this. This is like a new version of The Fault in Our Stars. It's that good. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I read it in like a day and a half. So it was definitely a very good book. I would highly recommend it. Just make sure you have tissues handy because I went through so many. So the next book I read is The Sun Is Also Starred by Nicola Yoon. Basically, this is about a girl named Natasha, that's her name. Natasha, whose family is being deported to Jamaica after her father commits a crime and they overstay their visa. And then it focuses on a boy named Daniel who is from Korean heritage, and his family immigrated to New York. However, he does not want to do the things that his parents want him to do, and he doesn't want to follow in his brother's footsteps. He doesn't have a very good relationship with his brother. Anyways, by chance, these two cross paths in New York City, and throughout the course of the day, Daniel attempts to get Natasha to fall in love with him, not realizing that they only have just a day. And honestly, I liked it a lot. I will admit that it was a little bit slow in parts. And I wish there was a little bit more context. But I did give it like a 4 or 4.5 stars. I read this because I wanted to see the movie. Okay, so Rachel and I tried to watch the movie, and we had to stop watching it. It was not good. I love Charles Melton, and I love the girl that plays Natasha. I can never pronounce her name right, so I stopped trying. But, it wasn't good. They got a lot of stuff wrong. Like, off the bat, I was like, oh my gosh, they're getting so much wrong. And it was not like the book. There was so much that was different, and it made me really upset because they discluded one of the most important characters, which she doesn't seem relevant at the time, but by the end of the book, she becomes extremely relevant, and her story is like what made me love the book so much. And they totally skipped over her, and they skipped over like a ton of stuff. They got a ton of stuff wrong, and by like halfway through, we were very bored, so we stopped watching. But I did like the book, so perfect example of why you should always read the book first. Okay, so the last book I read, I'm pretty sure I actually read this in June. It might have been it was the very beginning of June. But I read Roomies by Christina Lauren. This was my first time reading in the adult romance genre, and I was not disappointed. I literally read this in 5 hours flat. I sat down thinking I was going to do a try chapter tag, and I ended up just reading the entire freaking book in one sitting. So basically this is about a girl named Helen who invents excuses to go down to the subway to hear her favorite busker. And she's had this crush on him for months. She has never had the nerve to actually talk to him. But one night she gets attacked by a drunk man, and Calvin McLaughlin rescues her, but quickly disappears when the police question him. So, Helen gets Calvin an audition with her uncle, who is Broadway's hottest musical director. The tryout goes better than Helen could have even imagined, and he is set for a great entry into Broadway until his reason for disappearing earlier becomes clear because he is in the country illegally and his student visa expired years ago. So, Helen decides to crack this plan. She marries him so that he can stay in the country. They're pretending to be in this relationship to keep him out of the country so that he can have this amazing opportunity and so that she can help out her uncle, only the relationship starts becoming more real than it is pretend. And I just really loved the way that this was written. I gave it a full 5 stars. Nothing felt forced with them. Like, it was all so natural from the beginning. And I really liked both of their characters. I didn't think I was going to like Holland for a little bit, but I actually really did like her. I loved her uncles. And I really loved Calvin too. There were some things that kind of made me irritated throughout the book, like just things that he did, but that was meant to happen because, you know, there has to be conflict somewhere in the book. But overall, I really loved the book, and I can't wait to read more from them. So that brings us to my July TBR. So we're just going to start out with the first and foremost book that is the most important thing to me right now, which is finishing Air Fire. This, I swear to God, if I don't finish this book in a couple days, I'm going to beat myself up. So I am already on chapter 39, page 335, so I only have like 270 something pages. Probably even less than that. Like I think it's 230. Yeah. So this is my main priority. This is book 3 in the Throne of Glass series, and this was April's read for my Massathon. Love that for me because it's July and I still haven't finished it. So next, I will say though that audiobooking is definitely helping. So next is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I really need to get to this. I'm hoping to get it on audio. And I do remember that this was like a huge turning point in the series where I was like, became infatuated and started flying through the books. So yeah, this is a big book. This is actually 645 pages. So I plan to get to this. This was our May pick. Again, I know I'm failing, but we're actually having the live show for Air Fire and Queen of Shadows the second weekend of July. So I do have Rachel's grad party that weekend though, so I'm kind of panicked on how I'm going to work everything through. We might have to have it a day early on Friday, but I will have to talk to Melissa about that. So yeah, the next book is Empire of Storms. Pretend I have it right here because I forgot to bring it home. But Empire of Storms is book 5. That was our June pick. So yeah, Empire of Storms is actually very, very good though. The only thing that I think might slow me down for that one is, again, the length of it. It is also a very big book. It's not physically like a big chunky book. She did that thing like she did with Wings and Ruin, where she thinned the pages to make it not look so big. But in reality, it's very big. So the only thing that might slow me down is that, and then also the fact that through most of the book they're traveling. So we're gonna see how that goes. But then I also have Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, which is July's pick for my Massathon. So Air Fire and Queen of Shadows, the live show will be the second weekend of July. And then Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn will be the fourth weekend of July. I just hope everything works out fine because I'm really sick of rescheduling these, and I know that part of that is just because I have to, but I just really hate having to do that. But I think it'll be fine. I hope. So next, these are all books that I'm very interested in and that I want to get to now rather than later. And yeah, I know you can all kick me because literally every single one of these are books that I've gotten in the past month or two. Love that for me. So the first one is Where the Crawdads Sang by Delia Owens. This is a murder mystery / rape story, I think. It's about this marsh girl, and it is set in the town of Berkeley Cove on the North Carolina coast. In late 1969, this handsome local is found dead, and they suspect the marsh girl, named Kaya Clark. She's actually not at all what they say she is. She's sensitive and intelligent. She survived years alone in the marsh, and it comes time when she learns to be touched and loved. 2 young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, and she opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. And everyone and their grandmother has been raving about how good this book is. I'm sorry, my foot was stuck in a box. So I'm very eager to get into this and see what it's all about. I kind of want to see how many pages this is. 368. So, yeah. Next, I'm trying to do the hardcovers first. Next is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So, this is about a girl named Imani who, she got pregnant freshman year and she has been having a tough life ever since, taking care of her daughter and her grandma. The only place she can let that go is in the kitchen. She's very gifted with cooking. She's always dreamed of working in a kitchen after she graduates, but she knows that it's not worth her time to pursue the impossible. Despite the rules she's made for her life and everyone else's rules, which she refuses to play by, once she starts cooking, her only choice is to let her talent break free. And this book has interested me since the beginning, but then I saw that Emma Books read it and absolutely adored it, and now I want to pick it up even more than I already did. I bought this book before I saw that Emma read it, and then when I did see how much she raved about it, it made me want to read it even more. And I'm really excited to. This cover is beautiful, and I think that I'm really going to enjoy the story a lot. Next, I have a book that should be easy. Did you hear that? I just said a book might be easy for me to read. And that's In an Absent Dream by Shauna McGuire. So, obviously, this is short. Easy. Let's hope. This is book 4 in the Wayward Children series, and this sets on Lundy, and her door ends up in the Goblin Market. So she's in a world that is founded on logic and reason, riddles and lies. And I'm excited to see what this is all about. My favorite is still the first book, but I also liked them all, but the first book is my favorite. And I'm eager to see this installment in the series. So, can't wait for this one. I don't know how many more she's making in the series. I think it's either going to be a 5 or 6 book series. I'm not sure. It might be 7. Who actually knows? But the next book is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. So this is about a girl named Lee Chin Sanders who is absolutely certain about one thing, and that is when her mother died by suicide, she turned into a bird. So Lee travels to Taiwan to meet her grandparents for the first time, and there she is determined to find her mother, the bird. In her search, she winds up chasing after ghosts, uncovering family secrets, and forging a new relationship with her grandparents. As she grieves, she must try to reconcile the fact that on the same day she kissed her best friend and crush, her mother was taking her own life. So, let's be real. We all know this book is going to make me cry. It sounds devastating, and this is a story of grief and symbolism. And I am honestly very excited to read it. I think this is actually something my mom would probably like to read as well. But I know that I will cry. I can already tell. You know, these things are just predictable for me nowadays. Why are some of my pages folded? But definitely want to try to get to this. I've heard nothing but good things about it. So next we have The Heroine Diaries by Nikki Sixx, a year in the life of a shattered rock star. So this is about Motley Crue's bassist and, founder of the band, Nikki Sixx. So he struggled with heroin addiction for a year. Yeah, a year. And this is his diary throughout all of the times he was shooting up, and all the times he messed things up, and, just all of his downfalls and stuff like that. And I'm very excited to read this because I watched The Dirt, but I don't think that The Dirt even touched on, the things that Nikki went through as much as this will. So I'm very excited to get to this and just learn more about him, because, I listen to their music. Sorry, guys. notice an alarm went off, and now I'm really freaking angry because now I am gonna have to edit this video, and I thought I could do it all in one video without having to edit it. But now that it's in 2 clips, man, that just made me so mad because I only had 2 more books left to explain. And it also, like, my phone, like, when it started vibrating, it fell off the windowsill and hit Callie, and she just, like, yeeted backwards. I don't know where the video cut off, but Heroine Diaries, I'm very excited to learn more about Nicky and, like, see the struggles that he was going through, like, sort of his reasoning behind why he started doing heroin. And I think that it's going to be a very informational and insightful read. So he starts doing these medical dictionary things like addiction, alcoholism, cocaine, depression, and heroin psychosis. And he also has a guide to all his bandmates and all the people that were around him during this time. So obviously Nicky, Tommy, Vince, Mick. And then he also has Deanna, who is his mother, his little sister, his grandfather, his manager, Doug Thaler. I don't know who Doug was because he wasn't in the movie, but I'm pretty sure he was also a co-manager. His girlfriend, the record label, Tom Zutat, which was the guy who signed Motley Crue. And wow, there are a lot more people. Yeah, there are a ton of people that were around him at this time, so that's definitely, this is gonna be a pretty, it's definitely gonna be a hard thing to read because this is like someone's life, this is like someone's mental illness, but he struggled with like depression and stuff like that. So I think this will probably be another fast read. So yeah. Next we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So this is about Lucy and Joshua who hate each other. And they work together. They sit across from each other as executive assistants to co-CEOs of publishing company. Lucy is overly bright. She's quirky. She has a Pollyanna attitude, and Josh hates that. Josh is joyless, uptight, meticulous, and Lucy doesn't like that either. They're up for the same promotion, and their battle of wills has come to a head, and they both refuse to back down. The tension between them also reaches a boiling point, and they discover that maybe they don't actually hate each other. And I've been told by literally everyone that this book is so phenomenal, and I'm just ready to get to it already. So which brings me to my last book, which is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is their newest book, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So basically it's about Olivia Torres, who is the unlucky twin, and her sister and her brother-in-law's best man is her nemesis. And she's not looking forward to this wedding because she's her sister's maid of honor, and her nemesis is her brother-in-law's best man. Suddenly everyone gets food poisoning, and the only people who aren't affected are Olive and her nemesis Ethan. There's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. So they agree to a temporary truce, and they head to Maui for a honeymoon. But the weird thing is, they actually don't mind playing pretend. In fact, she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be. So I've heard this is very good. I'm excited to get to all of these books. And yeah, we'll just see how this goes. Crossing my fingers and my toes that July is a better reading month than all the others have been. I can't even remember the last time I had a good wrap-up, guys. It was probably last year. Yeah. Because all mine lately have been anywhere from like 2 to like 5 books. And 5 books for me is not good because in last May, I had a wrap up of like 15 books. And last year, I reached a goal of reading like, I can't even remember how many books, but it was a lot. And I'm not even gonna come close to that this year. We are more than halfway through the year already. June's gone, so we have July, August, September, October, November, and December. We literally only have half of the year left. And I haven't even made half as much of progress as I did last year. And I wanted to be past that. So let me know in the comments down below if you were excited. If you are also excited about any of these books and plan to read them. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time for a new video.